Well, we're live. So welcome to the Iron Maid Method Fitness, the Iron Maid Method live stream number 2. So we got some fun stuff to talk about. And this won't be real long. There's some things that I want to discuss, 3 myths about weight loss. And I don't know if I'm going to draw on the board yet or not today, but we'll see if we need to. So there's 3 things that almost everyone believes about weight loss, and they're complete myths. Now, I've been a personal trainer since I was 18, 19. I don't remember when it was, but it was my sophomore year in college, somewhere in there. So I was 19 maybe. And there was a guy, and we had already gotten into a kind of an upper level class that was all exercise physiology people. And a good friend of mine named Chris came in, and one day we were all sitting there talking. He said, "Yeah, I'm training." And I don't remember, he pointed out a girl in class. He said, "I'm training her." And I said, "Well, what do you mean training her?" We didn't know at that time. This was like 1987, 1988, whatever. And personal training wasn't what it is today. I mean, only the stars in Hollywood had a personal trainer. I said, "So what do you mean training her?" He said, "Well, I lead her through a workout and I show her what to do and how hard to push, and I motivate her, and so she'll have a better workout." Kind of cool. So, and I said, "So like, does she pay you?" Or he said, "Yeah, $5 a session." I was like, "What? I want to do that." And there was a girl sitting there over here hearing our conversation. She goes, "I'll let you train me for $5. And I said, "Really?" So that was my first training client ever. And I didn't really know or understand. I mean, we had done exercise physiology stuff, but I've probably shown her the machines and how to use them and motivating her a little bit. So anyway, so I've been a personal trainer for a long time, and I hear all these things when people come in and they make statements. So the first one that I want to talk about is people say, "Well, you know, my genetics. I mean, look at my family. My father's this, my mother's this, my grandparents, you know, we're all like this." So here's a fact. Yes, genetic plays a role in how much weight you have on your body, but it only accounts for between 6 to 10 pounds of excess weight, and that's it. So anything more than 6 to 10 pounds of excess weight, you cannot blame on genetics. Yes, it's a little harder for some people to not lose weight. I guess here's the research. Genetic researchers found a gene that for the 10% of the people that have this specific gene in their body, they don't get that satiety feeling when they're eating as quickly as the other 90%. So there's 10% of the population that when they're eating dinner or eating breakfast or eating whatever it is, or eating a snack, late night snack, whatever it is, they won't stop as soon as the other 90%. So that leads to more weight gain over a period of time. So we go, well, then if it's only 10%, then why is 60%, 70% of our population overweight? So when someone comes in and they say, "Well, look at my family," I in so many words, in a nice way, say it's genetic habits. It's not genetics. It's habits. It's your family habits that have been passed down. In other words, we celebrate with food. We have food around. We buy this kind of food. We eat like this. We go out to eat all the time, all the different things. So it's more habitual than it is genetic. So we need to stop blaming our genetics. Well, wait. You said that 10% of the people have this gene. And I would tell you that I definitely do not have that gene. I probably have the gene that eating's almost kind of a nuisance to me. It's almost kind of gets in the way. I'm busy and I'm really hungry. I mean, I could go all day without eating. I don't even think about food, which is kind of strange for most people. I know. But for the people that think about eating all the time, they're always planning the next meal and they're always hungry. More often than not, that is because of something in their childhood. I'll give you an example. For so many years as a personal trainer, not the college students. So I'm pick on college students, not pick on them, but I'm give you an example of college students. So college students, because we're in a college town. If you're not from College Station, I live in College Station, Texas, where Texas A&M University is. The college students that would come in that are relatively fit, right? And we as personal trainers, we get more people that are fit to train than people who have 70 or 80 or 100 pounds to lose. We don't get that as often. So you get a relatively fit person. If they come in on their own, that student decided, "I want a trainer to get this last 10 pounds off." They're going to be motivated. They're going to work hard, and they're probably going to see the results. More than likely. They might put it back on afterwards. Pretty common. Most people do. But for the college student, and I'm just saying college student, it has nothing to do with college. It just has to do with that age range that someone has 50, 60 pounds to lose. Their parents say, "Why don't you go get a personal trainer? I think that'll help you. I think you need that." So they come into me and they hire me. they do well. They do great. I mean, I've been thinking of a lot of different of those those people in my head, great people. They did great until shit hit the fan, right? They had final exams. They broke up with a boyfriend or girlfriend. Just stuff happened in their life. What happened? They turned to food. Food was the first thing that made them feel better. Food was the thing that gave them that endorphin rush. And so instead of somebody else who wasn't raised that way, and I know it's not all nurture, some of it's a little bit nature too, so nature versus nurture. Those other people who weren't like that weren't taught in some way that food was this thing that I needed to turn to feel good. There's a million other things that they would turn to feel good when they were going through a tough situation. They would call somebody, or they would, I don't know, whatever. But those people that grew up overweight, we found that they turned to food very quickly. So it was more of a habitual thing, very hard to break. As a trainer, I don't think I ever really figured out how to break that in them because it was so deep seated in them. We talked about it a lot. I said, look, when you're going through tough times, what are we going to turn to? And they really worked on it. So anyway, being overweight is not genetic. There's a small genetic proponent to how much you eat and how much when you stop eating. But the second part of that, you have to understand it's more genetic habits. It's the habits that you were raised with and how we treat food. And so it's changing our mind to, do we live to eat or eat to live? All right, if you've never heard that before, let me say that slower. Do you live to eat food because you love gourmet food? And by the way, food's kind of a nuisance. At holiday time, family time, it's great. I love sitting down to a big family style meal. I mean, it's fantastic. Or do you eat to live? And what does living mean to you? To be fit, to be lean, to perform, to feel good, to have good cognizant awareness, because we know that food plays such a huge role in the way we think. God, I mean, so many younger people these days, older people too, all of us. Boy, people that have depression, we can kick them out of depression so fast. Someone will come to me and they'll say, I struggle with depression, I have anxiety, I'm on these medications. I'll say, okay, let's start eating like this. Let's exercise and let's see where that goes. Within a month or two, they're already saying, boy, I just feel so much better. My anxiety is lower, my depression is lower. So if you're eating to live, to feel better about yourself and to feel more confident and to feel more powerful, that's important. Okay, so that's number one. Losing weight is not as genetic as people would love to blame it on. Number two is, and I'm almost forgetting number three. Hopefully it'll pop in my mind when I come, because I didn't write this down. Fat makes you fat. The worst thing about the word fat is that it's called fat. Okay, there's two things that we're defining as fat. Fat is in the food we eat. So there's fat in most all foods have a little bit of fat. So fat in the food that we eat is called fat, right? Fat we store in our body is called fat too. I wish it were another name, because when we don't say, so there's three macronutrients, fat, carbohydrate, and protein, right? We don't say that she or he, we see someone, haven't seen them in a while and they've put on a few pounds. We don't say, oh gosh, we say they've put on some weight, or they put on some fat lately. We don't say they put on some carbs lately. They put on some protein lately. No, fat is this word that is not a good word, right? So we're afraid of fat. Now, when I was in college, we learned that fat was bad for you. We should go down to 10% or below. That was where we were at that time. And then comes Atkins, and then comes everything else. Fat itself does not make you fat. It's the amount of calories that you eat and the imbalance of the kind of foods you eat. Sugar makes you more fat than fat does. We know that now. But fat does not make you fat. Do not fear fat. Eat the proper amount of fat. So how much should you eat? I don't know. And that's up to the coach. That's for us to help you decide. If you worked with us, we would say, first, we work on calories. Calories are the one thing that matters more than anything. But Cliff, I don't get it. In keto, we can eat whatever we want. We can eat as much as we want. In Atkins, we can eat as much as we want. Atkins isn't so cool now. Keto is more cool. So in all of those diet plans that tell you that you can eat as much as you want, you can, but I promise you're not overeating, because you can't eat so much of that food. We don't want to eat all that much of that food. And we start eating like keto has a lot of vegetables in it, a lot of good things in it if you're eating properly with keto. And I'm not a keto proponent, but people that do, you are not overeating your calories, more than likely. calories is the first thing that is important, and understanding that fat doesn't make you fat. It is the amount of calories. And so people will say calories don't matter. No, they do matter. We've heard that. There's been articles, there's been your research that has touted and said that calories don't matter. Calories do matter. It's a measure of how much heat it takes to burn one unit, and that unit is called a calorie. So how much heat it takes. So fat has a little bit more in it. It's a little bit more dense. It takes a little bit more heat to burn that. So calories matter. So how many calories should I eat? Question is, well, that answer is different for everybody. So what we do at Iron Made is for 2 weeks, we let people eat whatever they want. In general, during that 2 weeks, people are eating better because they know we're watching it, and they track their foods for us. It's boring. It's tedious. I hate it. I hate tracking my foods because it takes time. I just want to eat, be done, and move on, right? None of us like doing it. It is the only way to do it. Do you know that most people, almost like 90 or 95% of people that give us a food diary and they will track it and they'll write down the calories will underreport by like 75 or 80%. It's a crazy amount. Now that research is out there. We know that people underreport what they eat all the time. So if you say, and this is the other thing I hear as a trainer, people come in and I say, I really don't eat much. I just can't lose weight. It's genetic. I get those two like at the same time. I'm like, hold on. First of all, I don't even tell them about the genetic part yet. I just say, okay, first of all, I want you to write down everything you're eating. Give me a 3-day diet, 3-day, tell me what you're eating for 3 days. Usually we do a Sunday or a Saturday, 1 weekend day, and then 2 weekdays. It's a pretty good idea what they're eating. So they write down everything that they eat. Now, before we had software like MyFitnessPal, which is great software. You can get the app on your phone. Before people had that on phones or on their computer, they had to turn it in, write it down for me, and then I would run it through software that I had on my computer. And we would see what they were eating. And then I'd say, okay, so let's stay in this range for a period of time and then see what happens, right? A lot of times with people, we'll lower their calories, but a lot of times we raise their calories. And then we do that for a while until we find this nice calorie range. And then we start working on macronutrients. Then we start working on the protein versus carb versus fat and what the percentage is and what that looks like. And then that changes in a couple weeks or in a month or in 2 months when we need the next evolution. See, the body this is a math equation. We do math equations, literally. Here's the number, go and do this. So there's the math, and then your body's biology. And the biology, remember the word homeostasis from 5th grade? That means the body is always changing in order to stay the same. We shiver, we change, we're changing, we're shivering in order to stay warm or stay the same as we were before when we walked outside in a cold day. We sweat, we change in order to stay cooler, to stay the same as we were before we walked outside in a hot day. And there's a million examples. Your body is constantly changing things to create homeostasis or keeping your body the same. It's brilliant in doing that. So your biology then will catch up and go, oh, you're eating this? Okay, then I will do this, and it catches up and we plateau. So we go here or here or here or wherever with the math equation, and then the body tries to follow it, but we're getting results and we're staying away from the biology, right? So we're kind of tricking the body to get the result we want, and we can literally get any result we want. If you have a distance runner, an elite distance runner who has 5 pounds of too much muscle, we can take off muscle and leave whatever fat is there. Let's say that distance runner is fairly lean as far as fat, but they're carrying a little bit too much muscle. We can just take off muscle. Or we can take that person and we can just add muscle. Or we can take that person and have no muscle added and just fat added if we want to. I don't think anyone's ever asked me to do that. So that's how we change, or that's how we do the math on that. And so don't think that fat makes you fat. Calories do matter. They do. And so what should you eat like? Look, every single diet plan in the world works because it usually you fit into a calorie range, and that's why it works. So, we find people that are on keto, and we don't diminish that. People want to do intermittent fasting. I think there's great reasons to do that. I think all of them are great for a reason. We bring people in and we go back to the middle and we say, we're going to stay in this calorie range. And then we're going to balance your carbs, your protein, and your fats. What happens is that within 2 weeks, they start losing weight for the first time in months or whatever. And they say, I'm not only losing weight, but I feel fantastic. Like I'm alive. I have energy. I can think. And it's like, yeah, you're getting all the things you need in your body, and you're going to be able to lose weight. And then 2 or 3 weeks later, a month later, they're like, I can't stop this weight loss. It's just like coming off. I'm like, yeah, because we're doing exactly what we're supposed to do. So fat does not make you fat. Get over that. Stop worrying about fat. Don't overdo it. But I will say one thing. Very interestingly, the grocery store foods or the snack foods are the foods that you like that we all crave. Let's take ice cream. What's ice cream made out of? Fat and sugar. Oreo cookies or any cookies. Fat and sugar. The combination of fat and sugar together is the most dangerous combination. So we generally kind of keep, well, we want to keep low sugar for sure, is keeping those carbohydrates away from the fat a little bit and just the right amount. And it works. Okay. I do remember the third thing I was going to say. I'll go through this quickly. All right. People say this all the time when I first meet up with them, and they'll say, well, can I have my wine? No, I don't mean that in a derogatory term. I get it. You know, whatever habits you like, whatever snacks you like, and generally it's wine, right? Or some kind of alcohol. They're like, well, can I still have? Yes, you can, but it's got to fit in that Hey, first of all, what's your goal? What do you want? If this is your goal, and that doesn't include wine, if we find that doesn't fit in there, then you got to make a decision. Do you want that or not? It's up to you. You can eat and drink whatever you want. So can you have your wine? Yes, you can have your wine. Does it fit into that? What is your goal? We can always make that fit in there. It's kind of weird because alcohol acts as a carbohydrate and a fat in a weird way. So we have to ask Coach Diana. I don't know what she does with it. She is really the nutrition pro. I always tag that as a carbohydrate because I think it acts more like a carbohydrate in your body than a fat. But so the thing is yes, you can have it. But here's the other thing too, is what is your goal? And whatever you don't want to take out of your life, which for me would be coffee. That's like the one thing. And I'm not a huge coffee fanatic, but I drink 3 or 4 cups in the morning. I have not gone a day without coffee since I was in college. There was 1 week over spring break. I just didn't have coffee around and massive headaches. I don't think I've missed a day since then. It doesn't matter. But if someone said, we're going to cut coffee out, I'd be like, but then the decision would be, how badly do I want this outcome? And you're telling me that it has to be without coffee. Okay. It's a decision I get to make and I have to make. So you get to make that. Can you have wine? Yeah. Can you have Twinkies? Yep. We can fit that in there. We can make that work. Can I have pizza? Yeah. Okay. So there's going to be a calorie range. Let's figure out how much you can have. Well, can I have like 6 slices of Papa John's every Friday night? Yeah. We could probably fit that in there. We can make that work. So the question is, can I have that? The answer is, what's your goal? Does it fit into your goal? It doesn't mean you can't have it, but we have to make it fit into the overall scheme to get that result. Now, I'll tell you this. People are really serious. I will challenge you to do this if you're listening to this. Go hardcore with your nutrition. And I don't mean drinking egg whites and going so strict at first. But go all in and eat really healthy, and we'll help you do that. We'll show you exactly what to eat for a period of time. Watch the results you get. And I promise you, at the end of a period of time, 12 weeks, whatever it is, at the end of that period of time, the results you get, you will never look back and say, looking forward to it, but you don't look back and say, I wish I drank wine through this. It wasn't worth it. It's always worth it. The finish line is always worth whatever you did. I don't think I've ever crossed a finish line in my life and said all that work wasn't worth it. There was one race, Ironman, Wisconsin, that I finished, and I'm like, I'm kind of done for a little while. Like that was my 4th Ironman in 3 years. And I was at a point where it was like, I got to take a break. I got to get back to working. Like, I've spent so much time on this, but it was worth it every single time, no matter the pain, no matter what you went through, it was always worth it. So can you have wine? Yes. But is it something that, and I'm just picking a wine, whatever alcohol, whatever food, whatever thing that you want in your life, it would be worth it for you to challenge yourself to take that out for a period of time and watch what happens and go really hardcore and get results, not super fast, but fast. Get results and look absolutely amazing. You know, as a personal trainer, I could not say this for so many years as a younger trainer, and I'm an older guy. I don't care, about what people think so much anymore. I do. But here's the one thing that it took me a while to say. At the end of the day, there's two reasons we want to get fit. First of all, we want to look great naked. I couldn't say that as a younger trainer because I'm like, well, first of all, I didn't want to offend anyone. But really, think about it. It's like we want to walk past that bathroom mirror after we get out of the shower, and for guys, we want to flex, and ladies, we want to turn sideways and look at our hips, look at our waist. We want to look great naked. The second thing is we want to be happy. We're looking for happiness in everything we do in life, no matter what it is, in our work, in our family, with our kids. We just want happiness. We want happiness with our kids. We want happiness in our relationships. We want happiness in the work that we do. We want to be acknowledged. We want to feel needed. We want that fulfillment in our spirituality. We want to be happy with our spiritual relationship with God, right? So we're all seeking that happiness. What's going to make you more happy? Is it drinking that wine? Yeah. I mean, absolutely. That sends out endorphins. We feel good drinking that and helps us relax at the end of the day. But I can promise you, if you challenge yourself, you can go without for a little bit. And those results, when you look naked in the mirror and you look great, are really, really worth it. So I'll challenge you for that. So can you have it? Yeah, we can fit it in. We can fit anything into your diet. We can fit Cheetos in there, which is the greatest food that God ever made. He didn't make Cheetos, but it's like the best food known to me. That is my cheat food. It's my favorite snack food. So anyway, there's the three things. So quit worrying about your genetics. Really has nothing to do with genetics. Number two, very little, if anything. Number two, fat does not make you fat. It's the calories that we worry about. And number three is, can you have it in your diet? Yes, you can have it in your diet. You can have it in a good, healthy eating plan within reason. And we're glad to help with that. So if you need help, if you're not on our Facebook group, so if you're watching this on YouTube and you're not on our Facebook group, it's been scrolling along in the bottom. This is my first live stream using this software. So I think that's kind of cool, scrolling across the bottom. Which way is it going? See, I'm backwards, scrolling that way. That's it right there. Facebook.com groups/Iron Fit Method. Join us in the Facebook group. And if you want a consultation, we do them free 15-minute call. We get on the call and we try to make that value for you, that we'll listen to what you're going through and we'll try to help you get those, get to those goals. And if you need more help, then we give you more help too. So go on the Facebook, join the Facebook group, and we'll help you. We love it. And who is in there? So it's Coach Diana, who has a degree in nutrition. And she's a physique competitor and knows her nutrition, knows how to get your body to anything you want it to be. I do too. And then Kelly, who's my wife, is busy with the Yoga Pod business a lot. And she'll probably do more with Iron Maid when she can. It was funny. Years ago, I was training somebody and she asked me a question and texted me a question. Here was the question. She said, I've got a wedding in 3 weeks. I got to fit into this dress and I have to lose 15 pounds. I'm like, oh, geez. Because you get that a lot. Kelly goes, I got this one. So she was texting. I said, hey, Kelly's going to help you with this because she actually just did this recently. So anyway, Kelly's a huge, huge help. Oh, and the lady got there. She fit into the dress. She lost the 15 pounds. Doable. She'll be involved more. She's a killer motivator. She just knows what to say at the right time. She teaches our PodFit class at Yoga Pod in the morning. All right, long enough. Y'all have a great day. Join our Facebook group if you haven't already joined. We look forward to helping you.